Hey, good afternoon, guys. Having a little afternoon coffee, just chilling here. I'm gonna just show you what I'm looking at here. It is a wavy day out there. Very choppy, but a very nice breeze coming in. Feels so good. Sorry about the shakiness there. I just really wanted to show you my view. All right, this video is all about preparing you guys for moving to the Philippines. Everything in this video is basically some main things that I wish I had thought about before I came to the Philippines to save you time, save you money, to save you stress. This is a biggie I'm gonna start with because I think most guys overlook this. It's kind of a typical guy thing to overlook this, but coming to the Philippines, I think you should really do this. Check in with yourself, guys. Do an emotional readiness check and know yourself fully before you hop on the plane. In fact, before you even hop on a dating site, how ready are you really for a serious relationship? Even dating, guys, because of the temptation and because of all of the potential for like pitfalls and bad things to happen, a lot of that comes down to just poor decision making. And the poor decision making is often because emotionally you weren't ready for what you're getting yourself into. Not knowing what you're looking for, not fully stable emotionally when it comes to that kind of stuff, having some feelings of urgency. You know what I'm getting at. So by checking in with yourself and knowing where you're at, I think it'll allow you to see things clearly and help you make some decisions. The next thing I want to talk about is do a financial check. Make sure you have everything lined up where it should be before really pulling the trigger and moving over here. Some are going to think you need more, some think you need less. I would say a minimum that I would feel comfortable with to come over here, because I know what things cost and I know what kind of life you can set up for yourself with this amount. 20,000 US dollars would be the minimum that I would want in a savings account that I just don't touch. It's there for emergencies, unexpected, things like that. And I would want a minimum of 1,500 US dollars consistently coming in. It's not going to drop. It's not going to miss a month. Consistent 1,500, you know it's coming, and you know you have that 20K sitting there, minimum. If your income is 1,500, your monthly expenses for your typical months should be less than 1,500. You don't want to just max out your budget every month at all. I'm using 1,500 because I do have a friend, and I've known a few people now that are living, like he lives in Dumaguete. I made a video about it. His rent's 10,000 pesos, which is like 170 bucks a month. He doesn't really travel, simple life. He snorkels a lot. He has a car. He had the money to get himself set up first, but his monthly living is like 1,000 to 1,200 a month because everything's set up. And then he has his like savings cushion there. So that's how I look at it. If you guys feel otherwise, let me know. I think some guys would say, oh no, you want to have more than that for sure. I think as a safety, like backup plan for unexpected things, more the better for sure. But a lot of the monthly expenses, it really comes down to personal preference. If you're okay with a simple life, heck, Filipinos live on way less than that, like a fraction of that, and they're living here. So it really comes down to your standard of living. And most foreigners do fall into a category where spending 1,500 a month once you're set up is the baseline for most guys, as opposed to 1,000 to 1,200 like my buddy. So keep that in mind. When it comes to banking, when I came here the first time, I brought my Bank of America debit card. I had one debit card and I just went to the ATM, and then I realized, shit, it's taking out a lot of money. It's taking out like 15 US dollars total from all the different fees, and it all added up. And I'm like, that's a lot. You're going to the ATM all the time. You might have already heard of it, but get yourself a Charles Schwab checking account, and then that debit card is 100% reimbursed for all your ATM transactions. And that card works like in every ATM that I've ever been to. And my Bank of America debit card, for whatever reason, it didn't work in all the ATMs here. It was a little bit more picky. So that's a biggie when it comes to banking. But yeah, quick splice in here, guys. I need to say this. I'm editing and I'm thinking about how serious this really is. When you're talking about financing and you're talking about your livelihood and you're talking about, having yourself covered for unexpected things, it's one thing to have a limited income for lifestyle, like your monthly budget. It's another thing to have a savings, like a safety net that's capped. And 20K, I think it's a decent amount. It's enough to sort of cover you for unexpected things, maybe book a flight back home. But that's also assuming that you have some safety net beyond the 20K. Like if you have to burn through that for something unexpected and you're only making $1,500 a month, you can't replenish it. That sort of minimum baseline should also have further safety net, family back home that you could go stay with, or money that you can make if you need to replenish that 20K. And the next thing that I'm going to talk about is health insurance, because that could end up being the big thing that burns through your money that you have here. But if you have health insurance to cover you, then at least you have that as an additional safety net. So I'll get into that right now. So this is a really interesting one, because it's one thing to have to get yourself an insurance plan. Like I'm talking catastrophic insurance. Let me add some clarity to that. For the daily things, guys, like getting blood work or going to see a doctor, you're spending like $10 to see a doctor. If you need x-rays or if you need these kind of things, out of pocket. That's self-insure for sure. It's the catastrophic. It's the bigger things that can come up. You're staying in the hospital for subsequent days. You need a surgery, whatever it may be. Hopefully that never happens. That's where insurance is important, because that can add up. That can actually become a huge ticket item. But it's not just having the insurance in the Philippines. The service-backed element of the insurance is everything. If you don't have, like if you could have insurance, but if you show up in the hospital and you're by yourself and you're not able to communicate or whatever, they're not going to do much at all or anything at all until there's payment, until there's something where they know they're going to get paid for whatever they're doing. There's a link in the description for it, guys. This company actually works with a ton of expats here in the Philippines. There's a Facebook group linked to the company. You can get on there, you can ask a bunch of questions, you can find out what their experience is working with them. So this is actually a big one, and I recommend it. If you're an insurance guy and you're thinking about it, another thing that's really key with them is that you don't need cash. You don't need the money up front. Card in your wallet, everything's covered. If necessary, someone from the company would call the hospital, would do all that navigating and have those conversations on your behalf to make sure everything goes smoothly. So that's what that's all about. I want to say this too. They have clients that don't need the insurance because they have a ton of money. Like they can technically self-insure. They have the amount of money. But the reality is most people don't have the money on them. And so if you're in the hospital and you don't have access to the money and you don't have someone that can go get that money, you're kind of screwed. So they have clients, they get the insurance just for the service element of it. Anyways, you get the idea. Not everyone is a health insurance guy, but I think it's something to really consider because it can really derail everything here in the Philippines. Of course, your finances and beyond that as well. Okay, next thing that I want to talk about is phone and connectivity for when you come over here. There's a few ways to do it. What I do is I keep my US phone number, and you might want to as well, because if you want to get on the bank, you want to check things like that, you often need a phone verification. So keeping a US line, if you're keeping banking and everything back home, is crucial. I use T-Mobile. I have an eSIM for T-Mobile on my iPhone, and I get a basic plan with them. It's like $22. They don't advertise it, but it's just for like texting. It's like phone and text, no data, but you can't actually phone from here. So it's really just texting for verification and to keep my number. And I'm sure other US carriers or other countries can do the same thing, but keep that in mind. When you get to the Philippines, then you can set yourself up with a physical SIM card. Well, this is what I have. I have a physical SIM card for Smart. Smart and Globe are the two biggest companies here. They also do eSIM, guys. So there's a lot of ways that you can go about it. All right, the next thing that I think is important shopping. Things that are must-haves for you. You can get a lot of things here in the Philippines. It's not that you can't. But here's where it's important to get that before you come over here. If you have a certain shoe and shoe size, or let's say you have a certain type of button-up shirt that you freaking love, man, that's your go-to shirt. That's the shirt you're gonna wear when you're going out on a date with someone that you're so excited about. She's beautiful. You wanna look your best. If you come here with just some t-shirts and then you wanna do some like really unique shopping here and you wanna find the style and the size, I've realized it can be, you can luck out, but a lot of times it's annoying, it's time consuming, and you don't always get what you want. For me, I have bigger feet. It can be hard to find my shoe size. And it's not just clothing, it can be anything. Things that you really really want a certain thing, a certain type, a certain brand. I'm not going to go into every little thing that you should consider bringing. I actually have my Amazon store where I've just put together a bunch of stuff that I have or things that are on my wish list. Check it out, at least as something to guide you on some things to consider getting, and then kind of go from there. But yeah, get the things you really need before you come here, so you don't have to like stress out trying to find exactly what you want after you arrive. All right, next one is a biggie. I think most guys will dabble with online dating before they come to the Philippines. And this kind of it relates back to the readiness, the emotional readiness check. Man, you can mess up a lot of things just by approaching that the wrong way before you arrive. If you're feeling urgency and lonely and oh my God, you want to meet someone, and then you hop online, you're going to get bombarded with attention. You are, I guarantee you. And that can sort of give you false hope. It can get you excited. It can make you pull the trigger too quick on the wrong one. And first thing I want to say is don't feel like you have to rush that. Don't feel because you met someone online that she's the one. Maybe she is, but take your time, especially before you've even arrived here in the Philippines. I would say, yes, guys meet great girls online without a doubt, and it works out. And sometimes it even goes quickly. But more often than not, the more you try to figure all that out before you arrive, the more trouble you can get yourself into. So just approach that with a level head, with that readiness check to know where you're at. I would be upfront that you're not trying to overcommit or overpromise anything before you move over here to the Philippines. Whether you want to have a few people that you're talking to and you're not really sure, or if you want to just have one that you focus on, I still wouldn't put all your eggs into that basket and promise them like, I'm coming for you and we're going to be together forever. Oh my God, I've met so many people that kind of approached it that way. Even if things feel like great online, it is more often than not different when you get here, and sometimes way different. You don't see everything. You're only getting little snippets of them through video calls and through texting, and both people are on a high of excitement of meeting someone. I don't want to kill your thing if you have something great going. It's not that it can't work out. Like, one quick story is a guy that I met in Cebu. I met him and he was like, he looked like he saw a ghost, man. I saw him in the lobby of a condo, and he couldn't actually explain much at that time, and his girlfriend was coming out of the elevator, but he recognized me from my channel and he started telling me a little bit, and then he cut it off. He's like, I can't talk anymore. But he was not, he looked a little bit not in a good place, right? I ended up running into him another time and I caught him one-on-one, and he just unloaded. He's like, dude, I met this girl online. Everything was great. We hit it off. I was so excited. I came here and she was my main focus. I'm like, I'm moving to the Philippines. I found my girl. And so she was like, I found my guy. He's my guy. He's coming for me. And the plan was to meet her and the family, and everything was pre-planned and promised, and everything was just going to happen. Well, he realized pretty quickly that it was not at all what he was expecting or hoping. She was pretty and the things that he liked were there, but she had other sides to her. She was always acting jealous, and she was getting on his case about everything, and he was stressing all the time, and he couldn't do anything. She was just on him, and he was like, dude, I made a mistake. And he was just not sure how to navigate it because he overcommitted to everything. Definitely was in a little bit of a predicament, because man, when you're already committed and you're staying with the family, and the family is like in tow and all these different things, you're going to have to have a pretty big conversation to kind of change all your plans and and break up, or take some time to yourself. She's not going to understand that because you're already like together and staying together. You don't have space, you can't breathe, you're all in. And he was like, shit. And so he was actually going to ride it out for a little while and then go back home and then tell her, because he was just caught up in it and he didn't even know what to do. And he's like, I don't know if I'm overthinking it. But point is, man, give yourself some buffer room. Don't overcommit. Give yourself space. Give yourself your own place. Don't have someone move in with you right away. Bad idea most of the time. All right, moving on to the next and final thing for this particular video, and that is, where are you gonna go? What is your plan? Are you coming here? Are you picking a spot? You gotta think home base, and then you might wanna be thinking like a bit of a discovery element to you moving here. Like maybe you're like, all right, I'm moving, I'm gonna start in BGC, or I'm gonna start in Cebu, which a lot of guys kind of choose between those two. And then there's kind of endless options after that, from smaller cities to rural to like tourist areas and beach areas. And man, you can get scatterbrained really, really fast when it comes to like trying to figure that out. I think that's part of your readiness check, knowing yourself, knowing the kind of environments that make you the most happy, nature versus city. This is a big topic. This could be a video in itself, but this is a big decision. So this is my recommendation, guys. I think for most of you, getting yourself grounded is your best bet, especially if you're moving here and you got time. You're not just coming for a couple of weeks. Get grounded, have one main place that you're going to start at, and then from there, plan your little discovery outings and stuff like that. But again, that all comes down to your emotional readiness check. I think your best bet, if you're just not totally there where you want to be, fully stable, fully comfortable, fully ready for everything, stay somewhere for a while and make some connections, make some friends, get the lay of the land, get a routine going, go to the gym, go for walks, get familiar with the Philippines, start in an easy place, start in the bubble, start in BGC or start in IT Park where I did. If you're like me and you're like many guys, you might only want to do that for a little while. I ended up taking off to Moalboal after a month. I was like, I needed to get out of the city. I wanted nature and I wanted to go snorkeling and stuff like that. But I guess here I am saying what I did. But what I did was bounce around and travel, and I was like trying to meet someone and dating and going all over the place. So what I'm saying now is sort of don't do exactly what I did, because I feel like I would have benefited from getting more grounded and focusing on friends more rather than focusing on just travel and dating. But it doesn't mean getting grounded has to be in the city. I guess that's what I'm getting at. It might be, but you might want to go to a bit of a smaller city and get grounded there. A place like, Dumaguete, Valencia, Darwin, something like that, where you're not dealing with the big city feel and you have nature. I think this area is great. Obviously, I live in this area. I think there's a big enough expat community, which I think is important for like getting grounded and starting out, like not in a remote area where there is no expats, where you can make a few like-minded friends and find a little bit of a routine. They have gyms here, they have the Western restaurants here, they have the nature escapes, and there's just enough going on where you can get grounded here. But a lot of you guys, BGC and Cebu, are going to be the best place to get grounded and kind of figure that out. Meetups are a big thing. I'm going to give a shout out to my friend John Smulo, who lives in BGC. He has the California Expat Bridge House meetup. So go to California Expat on Facebook and you can find information on that pretty easily. And he's got a YouTube channel, California Expat. And Britt McAllister is in Cebu City. He's got a YouTube channel. You can go to either his YouTube, Facebook, or his personal Facebook. And I think he has 2 different meetups per week. So he's getting a lot of that going too. So depending on what city you go to, that is really such an easy way to show up and have something that you can go to every week where you're meeting fellow expats, finding like-minded people, and getting yourself set up. Britt's YouTube channel, I think he changed it to Britt's Life in the Philippines. It used to be Britt's Philippines Adventure, but you'll find that pretty easily and you can get information on either of their meetups. So that's a big one, I think, to finish with. Get yourself grounded, get yourself settled in, get the lay of the land, start feeling comfortable, have some friends. And friends are more than just like friends to hang out with. Friends can be a support system. Friends are going to help you with information to help make decisions. And maybe it's just, maybe the city is like a stepping stone. Maybe that's your main area to get grounded. But by meeting other expats that have lived in other areas or that are planning some traveling, then you can kind of go at the right pace to go explore the next spot with a new buddy that you meet or something like that. Or maybe after a month or 2 in the city, you're feeling really good and you're starting to kind of dabble into the dating a little bit. And who knows, maybe you meet someone online that lives in another island and you feel ready to kind of get to that point where you're going off and meeting someone. Everyone's different for that. Everyone's goals are different and everyone's readiness for each stage of the game is going to be different. But just be aware of it. Check in with yourself. And that's it. That's all I got for you on this one. Hopefully there's some good information in there for you to help plan your trip and just have a kick-ass time when you come here to the Philippines. Take it one day at a time. Go slow. Have fun. Don't make any crazy big decisions on a whim. And you'll be fine. You're going to love it. So take care. Thanks for watching this one, guys. See you in the next video. Bye.